Yeah, I I thought I'd share this with you because I'm still somehow thinking about the role of PEAT and quartz, electromagnetism, and these kind of things. And since I haven't found anything about PEAT especially, I'm I try to figure something out. Rocks that crackle and sparkle and glow. Strange pre-earthquake phenomena. NASA. Abstract. Seismic waves are the most dramatic and most intensely studied manifestations of earthquakes. However, we also know of non seismic phenomena which precede large earthquakes. Some of them have been reported for centuries, even millennia. The list is long and diverse: bulging of Earth's surface, changing well water levels, ground hugging fog, low frequency electromagnetic emissions, earthquake lights from ridges and mountain tops, magnetic field anomalies up to zero point 0.5 of Earth's dipole field, temperature anomalies by several degrees over wide areas as seen in satellite images, changes in the plasma density of the ionosphere, and strange animal behavior. Because it seems nearly impossible to imagine that such diverse phenomena could have common physical cause. There is a great confusion and even greater controversy. This explains why reports on non seismic pre earthquake phenomena are regarded with suspicion in the scientific community. That's really small. This may change with recent discovery that igneous and metamorphic rocks, which make up a major proportion of Earth's crust, contain electric charge carriers which have been overlooked in the past. These charge carriers are the effect electrons in valence band, i.e., positive holes. Under normal conditions, they are dormant, but when they wake up, the rocks begin to sparkle and glow. This paper describes the physical and chemical nature of these positive holes, how they are introduced into minerals and rocks, and how they become activated. Evidence will be presented that once the positive holes are generated, currents propagate through the rocks leading to electromagnetic emission, to positive surface potential, to corona discharges, to positive ion emission, and to mid-infrared radiation. These phenomena are expressions of the same fundamental process, the awakening of dormant positive hole charge carriers that turn rocks momentarily into P-type semiconductors. I scrolled a bit down. Electric charges in rocks, where do they come from? Several of the pre-earthquake phenomena listed are at the beginning of this paper required as a sine qua non condition large electric currents flowing in the ground. Telluric currents. Example are local magnetic field anomalies and low-frequency electromagnetic EM emissions, both of which have been documented beyond reasonable doubt prior to a number of well-studied earthquakes. When local magnetic field anomalies occur during the weeks or days prior to a seismic event, they require electric currents of considerable magnitude. Obviously, these currents did not flow before. Their generation is linked to the earthquake preparation process. But how this process works has remained a mystery. Likewise, if EM emissions are recorded from an area where an earthquake will occur, electric currents are required to vary with time. Piezoelectricity describes a fundamental property of certain crystals that belong to non-centrosymmetric symmetric classes. Of all naturally occurring rock-forming minerals, only quartz falls into this category. Quartz crystals, when squeezed in certain crystallographic directions, generate voltages in opposite surfaces due to minute displacements of their ions related to each other along a polar axis. Within the validity of Hooke's law, i.e., within the range of elastic response, the voltages are proportional to the applied stress. When the stresses are high, the voltages generated can be large enough to draw sparks. This finds application in household appliances, for instance, in the ignition of gas-burning stoves. Conversely, if voltages are applied to quartz plates cut along certain crystallographic directions via electrodes deposited on opposite faces, the crystals change their dimension. They become thinner or thicker depending upon the polarity of the applied electric field. This finds applications in electronic devices such as quartz clocks, where the frequency of the applied electric field is tuned to the thickness of the quartz plates so that the quartz crystal go into resonant oscillations. In rocks such as granites, which contain a high percentage of quartz, the application of stress will, of course, lead to piezoelectric voltages on each individual quartz crystal. If the crystals are randomly orientated, which they normally are in batholithic rocks, the local piezoelectric voltages will cancel so that no long-range electric field is generated. Now to something else. Electrical for you. Dielectric material as an electric field medium. So PEAT is a dielectric medium. Dielectric materials are materials having no free electrons to conduct. The main difference from insulators is that it can store energy. All the insulators in electrical circuits are dielectrics. The change of a dielectric material with and without electric field is presented in figure 1. Which means they form a daisy chain. Do they? Let's hop over to Google Earth. No, it's actually Google Maps. This is PEAT country somewhere in Russia. And if you zoom in, you will notice that they are always aligned, those PEAT areas. There is a structure in it. And the UFO. There's something. But anyway, there is obviously this kind of alignment visible, which might prove the dielectric nature of PEAT. But the thing is, since they are aligned, there must be some kind of charge here. Let's draw a nice one. Let's say there's plus and there's a minus here, and a plus, minus, neutral, minus, and which might reflect actually the bedrock and the conductivity of it. Quartz veins, etc. Mineral contains a metal which is magnetic. So my thought about the whole thing is that how much should we take note about areas which contain PEAT if it's dielectric and our magnetosphere is weakening? Do they have this kind of effect even more that they had in the past about like whatever solar radiation coming in the summer. It's really, really hot. In the winter, it gets really, really cold because they create these kind of high pressure systems over them because of the dielectricity of the ground surface through PEAT. Does this make any sense? I don't know. But this is what I think about that. And I have no idea who to ask. It would be really cool to talk once with someone about that. But instead, I just talk in a monologue. Yeah, I leave it here. This is what I came up with for now. Thanks. Bye.